Your business isn't being run by your calendar or your team. It's being run by your beliefs, especially the ones you didn't consciously choose. Most founders think they're making decisions based on strategy, logic, experience, or whatever the business seems to need in the moment. I thought that too. But underneath all of that was something much deeper: my beliefs. These beliefs were formed long before I was an adult, and they were shaping how I worked, what I paid attention to, what I resisted, and what I created. And until I became conscious of them, they ran everything. Every founder has this. In fact, every human has this. We build our reality through the lens of beliefs that are created in childhood. Beliefs about what keep us safe, what makes us worthy, how we earn love and respect, and what it takes to belong. These beliefs get reinforced during the big, high impact moments of our lives because they carry an emotional charge. They don't feel like beliefs, though. They feel like reality. They feel like this is the way life works. But they're not reality. They're patterns. And those patterns eventually become the unseen architecture of how you lead and how your business operates. We think we're responding to a circumstance like a missed deadline or an issue with someone on our team, maybe a financial challenge, but we're really responding to our interpretation of those situations, which is shaped by beliefs. So here's how this works in real life. If you believe you have to do everything yourself to be successful, you'll hold on to too much, even when you hire, even when you delegate, even when you tell yourself you're letting go. If you believe that work must be difficult or it doesn't count, you'll unconsciously create struggle, even when there's an easier path right in front of you. And if you believe that many mistakes are dangerous, you'll shrink your world to avoid them at all costs. You won't take risk, and you'll call it being responsible. These aren't personality traits, they're beliefs, and they can limit your growth. Over time, the beliefs solidify into what I call a master model. This is a mental blueprint for how you think the world works. This blueprint decides what you see, what you fear, what you allow, and what you avoid, and ultimately what you build. Because it's operating below your conscious awareness, it becomes the default system running your business. You think you're choosing your actions, but most of the time, your beliefs are choosing for you. What makes beliefs so powerful is that they reinforce themselves. A belief doesn't just sit quietly in your mind. It filters your perception. It changes what you pay attention to. It shapes the very stories that you tell yourself about what's happening. And it's those stories that generate the emotions that drive your behavior. For example, if you believe that people will disappoint you, you'll look for and notice the mistakes, and you'll overlook the wins. If you believe you need to be the strong one, you'll suppress your own needs and overfunction for everyone else. If you believe that success comes from effort alone, you'll overwork long past the point of clarity or leverage. And eventually, your business reflects those beliefs right back to you. Here's what that looks like. You end up with a company that relies heavily on you if you believe your personal involvement is required for things to go right. You end up with a team that waits for direction if you believe that you're responsible for all the important decisions. And you'll end up with inconsistent revenue if you believe it's risky to raise your prices. You'll end up exhausted if you believe easy means you're not doing it right or it's not hard enough. The belief drives the behavior, and the behavior drives the results. And then the result confirms the original belief. It's a closed loop system, and it feels true, not because it is, just because it's familiar. This is why two founders in the same market can have completely different experiences. One sees endless possibilities, and the other sees problems. One feels energized, and the other feels stuck. One collaborates with the business, but the other one fights it. Same circumstance, different beliefs, different internal models, and different lives. You don't need to dig endlessly into your past to uncover every belief. You only need to look at your present results, because they'll tell you exactly what you believe. Your business is a mirror. It reflects what you think is necessary, what you think is safe, what you think is possible, and what you think you deserve. When you become conscious of this, you can change it. Every old belief, every outdated rule, every assumption you thought was reality. You can start to see that these beliefs are not facts, they're just habits, instructions you've been practicing. Some of them were useful ones that helped you navigate a world that you didn't control when you were younger, but they're not still useful now. So, the real work is not forcing yourself to behave differently through willpower and grit. The real work is choosing beliefs that create the feelings that will fuel the actions you take. And that is what generates the results that you want. Beliefs like, I can figure this out. Simplicity scales. I don't have to prove my value through overwork. Or I can lead from presence instead of survival. These kinds of beliefs open doors that the old beliefs kept closed. When you choose beliefs consciously, the results that were once impossible start becoming available easily because you're no longer building from an inherited past. You're building from an intentional future. Creating new beliefs is an essential skill, and I will dive into it in a future video. But here's the quick version. A belief is just a thought that you've accepted as true. Then you reinforce it by repeating it, by finding evidence for it, or by borrowing it from someone else who already demonstrates the results of that belief. Here's the takeaway from this video. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You rise to the level of your beliefs. And your beliefs are always up to you once you become conscious of them.